Welcome back to the channel. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this: a world where music is forbidden in your own home, a dream burning inside you that no one understands, and a journey that takes you beyond life itself just to discover who you truly are. Today, we're diving into one of the most emotional and beautifully crafted stories ever told. The story begins in a small, peaceful town in Mexico, where a young boy named Miguel lives with his large and loving family. The Riveras are known for their shoemaking business, a tradition passed down through generations. Everyone in the family works together, supports each other, and believes in one thing above all: family comes first. But there's one rule that stands above everything else: no music. Not even a single note is allowed in the house. This rule comes from a deep and painful past. Many years ago, Miguel's great-great-grandfather left his wife and young daughter behind to follow his dream of becoming a musician. He never returned. His disappearance broke the family's heart and left a wound that never truly healed. Miguel's great-great-grandmother, Imelda, was the one who had to pick up the pieces. She raised her daughter alone, built a life from nothing, and decided that music was the reason her family was torn apart. From that day on, she banned music forever. Generations passed, but the rule remained. However, Miguel is not like the rest of his family. Inside him lives a passion that he cannot control: music. He feels it in his heart, in his soul. Even though he knows his family would never accept it, he secretly teaches himself how to play the guitar. Hidden away from everyone, he watches old recordings of a legendary musician, Ernesto de la Cruz. To the world, Ernesto is a superstar, but to Miguel, he is more than that. He is a role model, an inspiration, and someone he dreams of becoming one day. Miguel copies his songs, studies his performances, and imagines himself standing on a stage, being applauded by the world. As the Day of the Dead festival approaches, the entire town comes alive with colors, lights, and emotions. Families gather to honor their ancestors by building ofrendas, altars filled with photos, food, and memories. It is believed that during this time, the spirits of loved ones return to visit their families. Miguel's family carefully prepares their ofrenda, placing pictures of their ancestors. Among them is a very important photo, a picture of his great-great-grandfather. But the photo is damaged and his face is missing, leaving behind a mystery that has never been solved. One day, while feeling frustrated and misunderstood, Miguel accidentally knocks the photo down. As the frame breaks, something unexpected is revealed. The missing piece of the photo shows his great-great-grandfather holding a guitar. Not just any guitar, the exact same guitar used by Ernesto de la Cruz. In that moment, everything changes. Miguel feels like he has finally found the truth. He believes that Ernesto is his ancestor and that music is not just his passion, it is his destiny. This discovery gives him the courage to chase his dream. Miguel decides to perform in a local talent show, hoping to prove to his family that music is his true calling. But when his family finds out, they react with anger and fear. They don't see his dream, they only see the past repeating itself. In a heartbreaking moment, his grandmother destroys his guitar. That moment crushes Miguel. For the first time, he feels completely alone, as if no one understands who he really is. But instead of giving up, he makes a bold decision. He runs away. Desperate and determined, Miguel sneaks into the grand mausoleum of Ernesto de la Cruz. Surrounded by admiration and history, he sees the legendary guitar displayed proudly. It feels like destiny calling him. As he reaches out and strums the strings, something magical happens. The world around him changes. Suddenly, Miguel finds himself in a completely different place, the land of the dead. This world is unlike anything he has ever seen. It is filled with vibrant colors, glowing lights, and spirits walking around freely. It's not scary, it's alive in its own beautiful way. But there's one problem. Miguel is no longer part of the living world. He tries to interact with people, but no one can see him. Panic begins to set in as he realizes that he is trapped between two worlds. Soon he encounters his ancestors. They recognize him instantly and are shocked to see him there. They explain that he must return to the living world before sunrise. If he doesn't, he will remain stuck in the land of the dead forever. The only way to return is through a family blessing. At first, this seems simple, but there is a condition. He must promise to give up music. For Miguel, this is not just a condition, it is a sacrifice of his identity. He stands there, torn between his love for his family and his passion for music. And then he makes his choice. He refuses. Because deep down, he knows that giving up music would mean losing a part of himself forever. Determined to follow his own path, Miguel decides to find Ernesto de la Cruz, believing that he will understand him and give him the blessing he needs without any conditions. During his journey, Miguel meets a skeleton named Hector. At first, Hector appears to be a trickster, funny, clever, and always looking for an opportunity, but beneath his humor lies a deep sadness. He is being forgotten by the living world, and in this place, being forgotten means disappearing forever. Hector offers to help Miguel reach Ernesto, but in return, he asks for one simple favor: to take his photo back to the living world and place it on an ofrenda so he can be remembered. Miguel agrees. As they travel together, they face many challenges. They sneak through restricted areas, perform in competitions, and avoid being caught. But along the way, something more important happens. They begin to understand each other. Hector starts to care for Miguel, guiding him and protecting him like family. And Miguel begins to see that Hector is not just a stranger, he is someone who truly understands pain, loss, and love. Finally, after a long and emotional journey, they reach Ernesto de la Cruz. Everything feels perfect. Ernesto welcomes Miguel, praises his talent, and seems to support his dream. Miguel feels like he has finally found someone who believes in him. But this happiness doesn't last long. When Hector arrives, the truth begins to unfold. It is revealed that Hector was the real artist behind all the songs that made Ernesto famous. Ernesto didn't just take credit, he poisoned Hector to steal his music and his future. This truth hits Miguel like a storm. The man he looked up to his entire life is not a hero. He is a villain. In that moment, Miguel realizes something even more powerful. Hector is his real great-great-grandfather. The person he had been searching for was with him all along. But there is no time to process this truth. Hector is fading. His daughter, now very old in the living world, is starting to forget him. And if she forgets him completely, he will disappear forever. This is the final death. Miguel now has one mission. He must return to the living world and remind her of her father. With the help of his ancestors and a loyal spirit guide, Miguel escapes and returns home. Everything now depends on one final moment. Miguel rushes to his great-grandmother, Mama Coco. She is very old, quiet, and lost in her memories. Sitting beside her, Miguel gently begins to sing, "Remember Me." The song fills the room with emotion. Slowly, Coco's eyes begin to change. She remembers. She recognizes the song. She joins in. It is a moment of pure love where music reconnects a bond that time almost erased. And Coco then reveals letters, memories, and proof that her father never abandoned her. He loved her deeply, and his memory lives on through her. At the same moment, in the land of the dead, Hector is saved. He smiles, knowing he is not forgotten. In the end, the truth about Ernesto is exposed, and his false legacy is destroyed. The Rivera family finally understands everything. They accept Miguel's love for music and realize that music is not a curse, it is a connection. The story ends with the family coming together,